Good afternoon. Welcome to We Believe Digital Newsbreak. We Believe Digital Studios here in downtown Jackson, Mississippi, trying to be our best to be the video voice of the community here in Jackson and far beyond. 72 degrees here in Jackson today, maybe making its way up to 76 or 78 later in the day. Sunny skies, beautiful day outside. So we got a whole bunch of stories to share with you. Some of them perhaps you heard already. Some of them maybe new or a little bit different. But so we'll get started on the global front. There was a report that a drone carrying a missile was flown towards the Kremlin and fired. After that, the information gets really sketchy about, did it do any damage? Were there any injuries? Whatever. But it's reported that the drone came from the Ukraine. So, the Ukraine denies that they're doing that. Some people thought maybe they're trying to take out Putin. Apparently, he was not in the Kremlin at the time, and at least that's what's reported about. It's funny when these stories come out because you just don't know. It's hard to separate some of the actual truth from maybe the propaganda. They do have their annual Victory Day coming up on May 9th, and so people kind of speculating that maybe this was a prelude to that or something. It seems to me that if Kiev was going to do something like that, they would have done it a lot sooner than now. So we'll just keep track of that and let you know what's going on with that. Not too far away, in Serbia, a 13-year-old student went into his school. It looks like 2 handguns and some Molotov cocktails. He killed 8 fellow students at his school in Serbia, and as well as one security guard. And the report that I read from the Associated Press said that type of thing is extremely rare in Serbia. The last time anything close to that happened, they said, was about 2013, 10 years ago. This guy had made a list of exactly who he was going to take out, and he did follow his list. And then this 13-year-old called the police on himself and was arrested. So, man, oh man, lots of wild stuff going on in the world. Also on the global front, Iran's Revolutionary Guard seized another tanker. You may recall they did that just last week. So this is the second tanker in a week seized by the Revolutionary Guard in the Straits of Hormuz, which is extremely narrow shipping strait where a full 20% of the crude oil in the entire world passes through that narrow strait of ocean there, adjacent to the UAE and Oman. So Iran has denied these seizures, and despite the Navy releasing the video of the entire incident of the Revolutionary Guard approaching, swarming the ship, and then just taking the ship where they wanted to after that. And apparently somehow, some way, this is all connected to the nuclear deal. But apparently that's at a stalemate as far as getting back to the table. The former President Trump took us out of that nuclear deal with Iran, and President Biden's indicated trying to get us back into it, but right now they appear to be at some sort of a stalemate with that. Maybe this is in some way collaterally connected to that. Not so sure. On the national front, I try and pronounce the name right. Divimara Lamar Nava, 53. This is the wife, identified as the wife of Francisco Oropeza. This is the guy down in Texas that killed his 5 neighbors just a few days back, and apparently she had lied to the authorities and knew his whereabouts. And anyway, on yesterday, he was taken into custody. Somebody had called. This is in Montgomery County. The sheriff named Rand Henderson. Apparently, she had lied to them about where he was at, and somebody had tipped off the FBI to where the guy was at, hiding under some clothes at the bottom of a closet somewhere. So not only has he been arrested for the killing of these 5 people, alleged killing of these 5 people, but his wife aiding and abetting. A lot of stuff being talked about with the Mexican border. The Homeland Security Advisor, Liz Sherwood Randall, spent Tuesday meeting with Mexico's president, Lopez Obrador, and other top officials. And they say they came out yesterday with a 5-point plan, according to statements from both nations. So under the agreement, Mexico would continue to accept migrants from Venezuela, Haiti, Cuba, and Nicaragua who are turned away at the border, and up to 100,000 individuals from Honduras, Guatemala, and El Salvador who have family in the U.S. will be eligible to live and work there. And the actual border, despite sharing a 1,951 mile border, Mexico hasn't been present, for the rollout of these new initiatives last week. But yesterday that changed. They came to the table. There's going to be some help with migrants can go apply to legally settle in the U.S., Spain, or Canada. They're going to create some hubs outside of the U.S. for that. The first centers will be open in Guatemala and Colombia. And so, some movement on the border and what's going on with all that. There's a movement to try to mitigate some of the migrants coming in, but to set up policies and procedures where they can, the ones that are eligible can do that and do that legally. Another story on this Tree of Life synagogue killing in Pittsburgh. It doesn't seem like it's even possible that was 4 years ago. Wow. 4.5 years ago, that Tree of Life synagogue killing, 3 congregations had gathered. This guy, Bowers, was charged with 63 criminal counts in the killings of 11 different worshipers. The charges including obstruction of free exercise of religion resulting in death and 11 counts of hate crimes. Well, he tried his best to, avoid the death penalty. Isn't that ironic? You kill 11 people worshiping, but then you use the legal system to try to fight the death penalty. Very interesting. So but the judge say no. You'll be eligible for the death penalty. Trial starting up right about now. You remember Chauvin? Derek Chauvin, nine and a half minutes on George Floyd's neck. Well, he had been convicted of manslaughter in April 2021 and later pleaded guilty in a federal case. Remember, there's 4 total officers there. 2 other officers, J. Alexander Koenig and Thomas Lane, pleaded guilty to state charges, of aiding and abetting manslaughter, and were convicted with this other defendant, Tao, Tou Thao, in their convicted in the federal case. Well, and then let's see, Tao, he was found guilty on Monday, 2 days ago, of aiding and abetting manslaughter, and that's on the state, on the state level. This is the guy that told the people that, not to get any close, held the people back while two other guys were holding George Floyd down, and Derek Chauvin killed him, kneeling on his neck. So these guys are getting some kind of rewards for, what they did, and so yeah, already convicted on the federal. So this is on the state, and rejected a plea agreement instead of going to trial. So more developments on that. It just seemed like time goes by so slow on those stories. Somewhere in the write-up, it said that there's nothing in any kind of standard policing training or protocol that would have that guy do, what he did, to hold people back and blockade any kind of intervention that might have been attempted to help Floyd, in handcuffs with an officer's knee on his neck for 9.5 minutes. Nothing in any kind of training or protocol that would say that that's any kind of a proper thing to do. So that's what he was convicted on, aiding and abetting manslaughter. So I think that's it on the national side. And then when we look down at the on the state of Mississippi, it is one more day today when Republican legislators have elected not to hold any kind of hearings on the TANF scandal. The Democrats have had 2 hearings. The Republicans have had no hearings whatsoever. So it seems to be a thought process that the less we talk about that, the quicker it might go away or something like that. But, obviously there's a lot of people highly invested in that not going away. So we just want to remind you of that. Also in Mississippi, the Memorial Hospital in Gulfport yesterday started laying off somewhere between 90 and 100 employees. And now these are not patient care employees. These are other employees. They say it's cost-cutting measures, putting people out of work. But now you got the governor down there doing a fundraiser for his reelection campaign while you have hospital workers being put out of jobs, and Governor Reeves always telling you over and over, that Mississippi, we got all kinds of jobs. Jobs are looking for people, but here's this major hospital, I think the 4th largest in the state, is laying people off while he's trying to fill his coffers for a reelection bid. There's another story related to that too, and I didn't have time to research it fully, but there's this Mississippi Hospital Association, and I'll try and get more to you the next time on this, but there's lots of different professional associations that do lobbying and help to secure monies for their member organizations and so forth. But UMMC, the largest employer in Mississippi, has cut ties. I believe this was yesterday, cut ties with the Mississippi Hospital Association, and lo and behold, several other hospitals followed suit and did the same thing. So the head of the Mississippi Hospital Association had been there about 10 years, and UMMC Vice Chancellor said that they seem to have lost confidence in the leadership of the association itself. So, the way things are here, these guys are so embedded with the legislature and all. Who even knows? Do they need a hospital association? I mean, the reality is what it is, and it's sad. We have these healthcare deserts in Mississippi, and hospitals closing certain services, then ultimately certain hospitals close. It's a mess. It's a mess, and we have the poorest healthcare outcomes in the country here in Mississippi. So we'll stop there and check out here just for a couple of commercials. We'll be right back.
Looking for the hottest content in the city of Jackson and surrounding areas? Check out WeBelieveDigital.com. Also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. We Believe Digital Podcast is here for all your podcasting needs.
The Mississippi Link is an African-American female-owned newspaper with a trusted voice that is highly respected throughout the city, state, and nation. Our motto, keepers of the knowledge for people who speak the truth, since 1993. Link significantly influences the thoughts, attitudes, and buying decisions of its readers. Call us at 601-368-8481 for your advertising needs. If you would like to receive a newspaper in the mail each week, our annual subscription is only $52 per year. That is only $1 per week for you to stay informed regarding many stories that you can only get in the Mississippi Link. Sign up today at themississippilink.com and click on Home Delivery.
And welcome back to We Believe Digital Newsbreak. Chris Young here with you today for some stories, things going on, different things happening. We worked our way down to the Mississippi level. Want to tell you about a couple things related to Medicaid. There's talk right now that there's an application being made to the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services for Mississippians to no longer have to pay, those that are on Medicaid, to no longer have to pay copays, not only for health services, procedures, etc., but also for prescriptions. So apparently this thing is in the works. It's expected to go to this request to modify, is expected to go to the what they call CMS, the Centers for Medicare, Medicaid Services, soon. And if approved, which is what they expect, it would be retroactive to May 1st. So some good news there for folks that are already on Medicaid. At the same time, the Mississippi Today and Siena College published yet again another poll stating that 2/3 of Mississippians support Medicaid expansion, and yet we have absolutely no Medicaid expansion. It seems like the powers that be, the powers that regular Mississippians elect into office to represent us, it seems like what they're after is no handouts is the kind of the mindset that appears to be revealed, is that we don't want to help out poor people in any way. We don't hesitate to steal money designed for poor people with this TANF scandal, but don't want to help poor people in any way. So tough. This affects hundreds of thousands of Mississippians. And so the evidence is that the majority, 2/3 of Mississippians do want to support it, but the folks that we elect to represent us, they don't honor that wish. They don't support that wish. Keep that one in mind. Also, there's this fella interesting man, this Chris McDaniels, rabid right winger, and A couple of different news stories today say that he is vowing to, sideline any Democrats from committee leadership positions so long as you elect him as lieutenant governor. And so I guess that's one of his campaign promises. Elect me as lieutenant governor, get Hoseman out of there, get Hardright McDaniels in there, and he'll make sure, with the power that he has, if he wins that election, that he'll make sure that no Democrats get any leadership positions on any committees. What a promise. Olympic champion Ralph Boston dies at 83, very close to his 84th birthday. 3-time long jump medalist, Olympic medalist from Laurel, Mississippi. He in Rome in 1960, he won gold. In Tokyo in 1964, he won silver, and he won the bronze medal in 1968 in Mexico City. So 83 years old, and a Mississippi hero in the context of Olympic gold medalist from Little Laurel, Mississippi. And then this strange twist of fate, another Olympic medalist, Tori Bowie. Tori Bowie, another 3-time Olympic medalist from Mississippi, died at 32. It was announced yesterday on Twitter by her management team. No cause of death was announced. 32 years old, my goodness. And she was from Sand Hill, Mississippi. In 2016 in Rio, she won 3 medals. She won the gold in the 4x100 relay, she won the silver in the 100 meter, and she won bronze in the 200 meter. 3 medals in one Olympics, 2016, from Sand Hill, Mississippi, dead at age 32. Really sad. Okay, on the state of Mississippi stories, and so we move on down to Jackson and Hinds County. Just got a few stories here. The first is that the JPS school board, or board of trustees, yesterday met and unanimously approved a plan for consolidating and closure of certain schools. So what really jumped out from the report that I saw on WLBT was that Baker Elementary will consolidate with Shirley. Brinkley Middle will be closed, but ultimately, consolidated with Lanier to make a junior high school combined campus. Not so sure about that, but obviously there's people out there that know a lot more than me about that. So I'm not always. But anyway, and then there was some talk of Pecan Park, but it's just not exactly clear from reading those reports what was going on, if Pecan Park Elementary will be impacted. But these guys study this long and hard. They know they're going to have a certain amount of money to work with. They know that certain buildings need repairs. They know that those repairs cost big money. They look to find tax credits. It seemed like they're trying to do the best they can. In the meantime, while all this stuff is going on, the test scores are on the rise. I mean, it seemed like over a period of just about 2 years, we went from 50% Fs in Jackson Public Schools to 0 Fs, and a majority of overall C for Jackson Public Schools grade. So let's hope this all can work out. I mean, there's a lot of times schools have to do this. It's not like it's something brand new. There's several buildings now that were schools before that are vacant. We need to find something to do with them. But as long as we have enough desks for all our kids and give them the best education we can, however they got to do that. There is that one unfortunate thing too about, with some of the, on some of the consolidation, hopefully everybody can stay together, because obviously these friendships and bonds that the kids develop, whatever you could do to keep them together through the process, seemed like it would be for the best. On another story, it connected to HB 1020, one of the takeover bills, where they're usurping the authority of Hinds County voters by creating a new judicial district and expanding the policing district within Hinds County. But part of that is that the Supreme Court, and it was passed and signed into law by the governor. We told you all about that. But there's a deadline coming up in less than a week where the Chief Justice, Michael Randolph, has to appoint 4 temporary special judges. And, the lawsuits have already flown against this. So we'll see if those lawsuits can get heard. We'll see if they'll grant a stay on the appointment of these temporary special judges, who, by the way, the term would go to 2026, and it very much parallels a normal term in office. So there's a lot of talk about this. 2 different lawsuits specifically attempting to stop this from happening, and that's according to WLBT. So we'll just have to, Mississippi Center for Justice is on that. The attorney Blake Feldman is on that, speaking to LBT. So we'll just have to see what happens on that, how that goes. Also, Judge Carlton Reeves signed a 59-page order yesterday allowing a lawsuit to go forward against the Mississippi Department of Health and against the city of Jackson. What is this about? This is about the lead in the water. And come to find out that years passed. Apparently, they had information, they had data that experts had collected, random samplings and so forth in 2013, that they knew that there was dangerously high. They said, I think I remember seeing up to 22% of the households, where there was dangerously high lead in the water, but they didn't tell anybody. They kept it to their own selves, and it's been known now for many years, but for several years they didn't. At least 2, if not 3 years, they didn't tell anybody about it, and that's what the lawsuit's about. Representatives for over 1,000 children, essentially filing the suit. So sad commentary about that. And we just hope this water thing keeps moving forward, and this third-party crowd does what they say they're going to do and move this forward. The guy vowed to not leave until it's fixed, and I'd like to take him at his word. Who knows? There's a lot of money flying all around the place on this water, so we'll just have to see. We'll keep an eye on it for you. So that's it for today's news break. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any questions about We Believe Digital Studios, give us a call, 1-800-492-5186. We'd love to talk to you and see what we can do to help you move your idea, your brand, or your products or service along through advertising, podcasting, different commercials, et cetera, et cetera. So we'd love to talk to you. So thanks again for joining us. Have a great day. We'll see you Friday.